Good day, dear students. Today, I'm going to talk about critical and creative thinking methods. Critical thinking is not about being negative. The term critical comes from the Greek word kritikos, meaning discerning. So, critical thinking is a deeper kind of thinking in which we do not take things for granted but questions, analyze, and evaluate what we read, hear, say, or write. It's a general term used to identify essential mindsets and skills that contribute to effective decision making. While there are many decisions for critical thinking, here is one that covers its essential aspects. Critical thinking seeks to identify reliable information and make reliable judgments. It encompasses mindset and skills, both of which can be developed through an understanding of key concepts, practice, and application. Let's define critical thinking. What is critical thinking? It's an ability to analyze information objectively and make a reasoned judgment. Evaluate sources like data, facts, observable situation, and research. It doesn't mean to criticize or to think negatively about something. Critical thinking skills involve identification and analysis of informational sources for credibility, indicating previous knowledge and making connections and deducing to conclusions. Shortly, the general characteristics of critical thinking can be listed as following: reasoning and suspecting, looking at situation from multiple perspectives and dimensions, to be open to change and innovations, to look at thoughts without prejudice, being open-minded, thinking analytically, paying attention to details. Advantages of critical thinking: people who are critical thinkers think freely and independently. People don't behave without thinking. Individuals can state the problem explicitly. According to Bloom's taxonomy, critical thinking consists of two order thinking skills: higher order and lower order. The higher order thinking skills are more cognitively demanding. It's like to create, to evaluate, to analyze. And the lower order thinking skills are less cognitively demanding. For example, apply, understand, remember. If you see, according to Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 levels. And on the top of the level, there is create, which means produce new and original work. Evaluate, it's like justify standard decision. Analyze, draw connection among ideas. Apply, use information in your situation. Understand, you can explain ideas and the concepts. And the last level is remember. It like recall facts and basic concepts. There are 4 technical skills of critical thinking: know, remember and understand, apply, analyze, and evaluate. Technical skills of critical thinking are the foundation for creation. When students have developed the abilities to know, apply, analyze, and evaluate, then they can create. However, you may need to reapply, reanalyze, and reevaluate after you start creating. Using Bloom's taxonomy of thinking skills, the goal is to move students from lower to higher order thinking, from knowledge information gathering to comprehension confirming, from application making use of knowledge to an analysis taking information apart, from evaluation judging the outcome to synthesis putting information together and creative generation. This provides students with the skills and motivation to become innovative producers of goods, services, and ideas. This doesn't have to be a linear process, but can move back and forth and skip steps. Now let's list the steps of critical thinking. The first one, identify the problem and questions. The second one, gather idea, opinions, and arguments. The third one, analyze and evaluate the data. The fourth step, identify assumptions. The fifth, establish significance. Six, make a decision, reach a conclusion. And the last one, present or communicate. Let's talk about creative thinking. Creative thinking can be defined as the entire set of cognitive activities used by individuals according to a specific object, problem, and condition, or a type of effort toward a particular event and the problem based on the capacity of the individuals. They try to use their imagination, intelligence, insight, and ideas when they face to such situations. In addition, they try to suggest an authentic and new design, generate different hypotheses, solve the problem with the help of discovering and finding new applications, whereby each individual realizes his or her knowledge deficits and tries to bridge this gap while obtaining new viewpoints by looking at the problem from multiple perspectives, with the help of making unusual connections and taking risks based on their insights to produce alternative solutions toward the problem or situation with great patience and determination. Let's consider the definition of creative thinking, which means ability to generate original ideas, processes, experiences, or objects. Generally, creative thinking is correlated to critical thinking and problem solving. Actually, there are three dimensions of creative thinking, as synthesizing, articulation, and imagination having the following qualities. Synthesizing. This dimension includes various activities such as getting benefit from analogous thinking, deducing original results from small parts, presenting novel and authentic suggestions to the solution of the problem. Articulation involves forming the old and new knowledge or expanding the current knowledge with the help of the new one, constructing unusual relationships to produce authentic solutions and making thoughts concrete with the help of imagination and the use of the materials. And the last one, imagination. This dimension consists of constructing a relationship between valid and reliable thoughts, presenting flexible ways of thought with the help of imagination to come up with a different insight during idea producing process. Based on the dimensions of the creative thinking, its general characteristics can be listed as the following: flexibility, authenticity, multiple thinking, wondering, thinking fast and independent, to be open to criticism, rationalism, being suspicious, to come up with different solutions, to realize and define the problem, to suggest possible solutions. There are four technical skills of creative thinking: original new ideas, fluently in many ideas, flexibly different points of view, elaborately details. Critical thinking and creative thinking are not isolated ways of thinking. Critical thinking is the thinking we do when we generate ideas. Critical thinking is the thinking we do when we judge ideas. So creative thinking are when we pose questions, imagine possibility, brainstorm solution, elaborate, improvise, chase inspiration, speculate, use intuition, defer judgments. And critical thinking when we pose questions, consider perspectives, identify pros and cons, determine causes, predict effects, consider alternatives, avoid assumptions, look for proof, draw conclusions. And the last points, the last idea when I would like to focus on, we need both skills to problem solve when we do that every day. The first one, brainstorm solutions. It means it's creative thinking. Decide which solutions are realistic. It's critical thinking. Use background knowledge. Remember and understand. Use what you know. It means apply. Decide what you need. Consider the resources you have, the resources you need, and choose the best solution. It's analyze and evaluate. Create and implement the solutions. It's creative and plus critical thinking. How to incorporate these skills into your classes? First of all, get students thinking, asking and answering questions, taking a different perspectives, forming an opinion, identifying, analyzing and evaluating, being creative, reflective and adaptive.